and I don't know if you remember, we're not going to say names for the confidentiality of the students, but remember that one student who had just been given the news that they had a brain tumor and they could not operate, and that the student basically had to accept the fact that they had a brain tumor. And I remember coming to you, because obviously you were the principal of the school, and going, right, we've just been given this news, and you went, okay, come on, go set up your paints. And they looked at you and you went, but I've got a brain tumor. And you went, and we just work around it. We find a way. Come on. And I remember the student looking at me and looking at you and going like, but you're not, you know, and you went, yeah, and what's the problem? You still got two hands, you still got two eyes, you can hear me. Can you hear the instruction? Go get it set up. And I'll never forget, they walked in and they were so dumbfounded, because they were like, but and they just went and they sat down and started putting their paints out. And I remember them doing that. And then also, do you remember that other student who'd been in a car accident, and they were in a very high position of the bank, and they had basically damaged the whole right-hand side of their brain in the car accident. And they had said in their perception that they felt they had lost everything. And when they phoned you, you said, okay, and what you going to do about it? And I went, well, okay, so you want to do the basics? This is where we can take you. It depends where you want to go. Come on, sit down. Let's start drawing. And then we worked out a way to obviously help stimulate the brain in order to help them draw and get through drawing processes. So it's been a really interesting journey. And it's not to say that therapy doesn't work. It's just to, I suppose, acknowledge and highlight the gap that we've discovered. And I would say the gap that's been discovered is about some, you know, in the beginning, people just don't want to come from an adult position and talk about their problems. And even when I've worked with art therapists in the UK, you know, the art therapists are saying, right, we're going to do certain things, and they use a structure, and it's really great. But it's looking at bringing the two together of the technical drawing and the free painting, and how those two make such an impact to relax and be free, but then also take the actions, the strategy, and the personal commitment to yourself to take that next step and be the one to make the change, and you be the one to take the lead and push that forward. So, yes, that's been...
So I mean, we're just empowering them. I agree. And I just wanted to tell you, recently is a lovely student who used to attend my art classes many years ago. Now she's come back to art class, but she had her two children. And after having her second child, she developed a tremor in her right hand, which means she has a problem with applying the triangulation, you know, technique. So I said, that's fine. We'll just work with whatever, you know, comes up. We'll just adjust and adapt. So she looks at me, she says, okay. I said, well, let's try something else, you know, whatever. So she says, yes, my hand is tremoring. I said, that's fine. And then we'll do tremendous artwork. Tremor to tremendous artwork. And that she just cracked up. She thought it was hilarious. I said, well, there you go. So you're now doing tremor to tremendous artwork, you know. And that's it. Now, interesting. Obviously, her brain is fired up, making new inroads. That the tremor's not there anymore, Justine.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is to basically say how we've noticed how working alongside other therapists. I mean, when I brought the drawing program to the UK, I was working alongside other therapists in every area, from NLP practitioners, coaches, counselors, art therapists, play therapists, and it was teaching them that you can use this to evolve and add and collaborate to your services. That when you can get to the many who don't speak, who who will go, well, there's actually, they don't see how their day-to-day lives build up, and then actually that's when they have that crash. And I talk a lot about the bucket with water, and there's a small little hole in that bucket, and it starts dripping out slowly but surely, that by the end, the time that your bucket's empty, you just don't know what that is, and you collapse. And that's what I'm noticing, how this really does help evolve and collaborate with other forms of therapies out there.
Definitely. I mean, everyone's wired in a very different way, and the same kind of therapy can be used either with dancing or with learning how to play an instrument. You eventually find your way of whatever, of however you wired.
Yeah.
But it's all about, I think, at the end of the day, creating something out of nothing. It's so exciting, and also facing the unknown, because you've got a blank canvas in front of you, and there's just so many unknowns, and then guiding the people through the unknowns to get to the other side.